Welcome back, dear viewers, and you're still watching Cairo Local Time. And in this segment of our program, we are going to talk about people-to-people campaign, which was launched recently by the Ministry of Tourism. Actually, Dr. Rania Al-Mashat wrote on her Instagram page that Egypt aims by this campaign to invite the global community to connect human to human and experience Egypt's dynamic, vibrant, and authentic culture. To know more about this important campaign, we are joined today by Mr. Medhat Mourad. He is tourism expert. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
So, sir, we want you to elaborate more to our viewers on the people-to-people campaign.
Yes, thank you very much. Well, this campaign, especially the people-to-people campaign, is part of a bigger marketing plan for the destination. So this campaign is done in cooperation with Beautiful Destinations, which is a UK-based company specialized in marketing several destinations. For you to know, for example, the Beautiful Destination, they have 12 million followers on Instagram, so they're very well known, that they are very professional, and they deliver the message. So looking at the video, it's a very short one, but it delivers the message that we have monuments in Egypt, we have a beautiful country, we have the Red Sea, we have the Mediterranean, the Nile, all the beautiful temples and tombs and Islamic heritage and Coptic heritage and so on. And also, but the best thing that we have is the human factor. So all over the world right now, people, when they travel, they look to the human factor when traveling. So it's not only seeing a few sites here and there. Sometimes we have guests who comes to us and say, well, you know what, it's like I saw enough tombs, enough monuments. I want to interact with locals to see how they live, to see their traditions, the education for the kids at school, to learn more about this portion of their lives. So that's really very important, and that's a very, very clever message to deliver to the whole world, that it's not only Egypt does have much more to offer, and through the human factor, it will deliver the right image. On the other hand, locally, it delivers another message. That's internationally, but it delivers another message to the local people of Egypt, because we are looking for having them involved as much as possible, directly or indirectly, in jobs relating to tourism. We have now 2.5 million people working in relation to tourism, directly or indirectly, and we are aiming by 2030 that we have one person of each household to be working in tourism. That's, by our counts right now, is 25 million. So that's a very, very optimistic plan. But if we have these people working in relation to the sector, we will definitely have the more effect and the more appreciation about everyone. And we are going into this plan, actually. If you notice right now the activities that's happening, and this is part of the E-Trip, which is Egypt Travel or Tourism Reform Program, launched by the Ministry of Tourism, that even the handcrafts, we are in coordination with other ministries in the government, we are launching a small project of training for the handicrafts of the Khan el-Khalili materials, souvenirs, to revive many of them. Because you can see in the market right now, and honestly, we have to say that many of them are Chinese.
Yes.
So you find the King Tut Chinese
so
made,
it's Oriental
and so on.
handicraft.
So it's Oriental handicraft, and back to creating more jobs for the people. Also, when you go to Luxor or Aswan, the temples and the tombs and so on, you will notice automatically, and even in the restructure of the pyramids area, you will find a place for the local community people to work over there and to sell their goods and sell small souvenirs for tourists. So they deal directly with tourists regarding this, so they get to get involved and to get more benefits from the industry.
So, sir, what makes this campaign different from any other campaigns launched by the Ministry of Tourism?
Now the ministry is dealing with these marketing tools professionally. Honestly, we are not trying to invent the wheel, as we say.
Yes.
We're not trying to offer the world or the guests who are coming what we want to offer them, but actually we want to offer them their needs instead. So we, through this very professional company, we told them the message that we wanted to deliver, and they saw how it could be understood and delivered to their foreign community, who they understand their language and they deal with it. So if you go with a small movie of 20 minutes, no one will watch it right now. It needs to go on YouTube. It's a quick one, very energetic music, no speaking. It delivers the message that you want to deliver. You want to say that we have hiking and biking and water sports and adventure activities, as well as we have monuments, as well we have sailings on the Nile and relaxing.
And the Egyptian people are so hospitable.
Exactly.
Yes.
So all these messages are delivered in 2 minutes time. So that's the beauty of it. The message wouldn't be delivered until the right way, until it's broadcasted on international channels, which will happen. So this campaign is just launched a couple of days ago, and it went on the social media, but it didn't go yet on the international media, which will happen very soon. So
yes.
you will see this same movie into different international channels in Europe and in the States. So that's really very positive.
And sir, how do you evaluate the Ministries of Tourism efforts to revive tourism in Egypt and to market for it abroad?
Again, we're very lucky of having Dr. Rani Al-Mashat, and together, of course, with
yes.
Dr. Khalid Anani, the Minister of Antiquities, because always the Ministry of Tourism work very closely with the Antiquities because we sell each other, we market each other. If we have a new discovery, that helps tourism, and if we have it without having tourists, so it doesn't make any good use for us. So we're very lucky to have both of them, very well educated, very young, energetic, and they have a plan. And that's the important and the beauty of it, that we have a plan right now. If you hear the statements of Minister Mashat since she took the responsibility, you will find the same messages going on. We have a base that we are trying to achieve, which are the 17 SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations. So that's our aim. How we achieve them, they have another plan. With the reform program of the ministry, there are steps, and going into a step every while. So, for example, speaking about community as well, and understanding that this needs to be coming from the people themselves, There is a protocol right now which is signed with the Ministry of Education that next year there will be a few information about the importance of tourism in the primary schools.
With tourists, yes.
Yes, and also there will be launching, and that's really very new, like a competition between the kids, and it's called the Ambassador of Tourism, and it needs some criteria, and we will be very, very keen to see who will win this competition. So that helps the kids to research on the internet, know more about their country, appreciate more the efforts that are done in this regard. So that's really very important. So that's one of the things right now. Also, the role of women, which is the point number 5 in the reform program, that understanding that the women role is really very important, and they need to have a bigger role into this industry. That's what we're working on right now as well. So many
new
objectives
ideas, out of the box ideas.
Yes, objectives. Working with the Ministry of Environment to train the local guides of Sinai, just to make sure that they know exactly what.
They are ready to deal with the.
Yes, exactly the right way, and they are trained to do it the right way. They're experts, of course, in what they do. Their knowledge is outstanding. However, they need to be aligned with overall procedures of the ministry. Also, protecting some of the places related to the environment in South Sinai specifically, and involving the private sector in upgrading these areas is really very important, and that's also in the pipeline and the plan. So many plans coming up, and with the relation again with the antiquities and what's going on about the Grand Egyptian Museum.
Yes, it is my coming question to
yes.
you about the developments taking place now in the Giza Plateau, and to what extent this area will be attractive to tourists in the coming period.
Well, everyone is waiting for the Grand Egyptian Museum to open next year. So whenever there is a piece moved from any, the coffin of Tutankhamun was just moved from a few weeks ago from the tomb in Luxor to the Grand Egyptian Museum for restoration before being displayed. So everyone in the world and all the media were watching and following this news. You know, Tutankhamun is really very, very famous. Now there is an exhibition actually in France of Tutankhamun, and is going to England after that. So that's also helps in the promotion efforts. And what's new, that other people also are starting to promote us, because they benefit from this. That's business right now. Tourism is business and not only leisure. The National Geographic decided, in coordination with 5 museums from around the world, to make a special exhibition in Washington, D.C. called the Women, the Queens of Egypt. And they got 300.
This is National Geographic, you said?
Yes, National Geographic in coordination with 5 museums from around the world, from Torino in Italy, from the museum in Canada, and others. They gathered 300 pieces from these museums, ancient Egyptian pieces from these museums, and they did an exhibition for 6 months in Washington, D.C., speaking about 7 queens who ruled Egypt in the modern history. So that's really very interesting. They didn't take, and that's of course in coordination with our embassy in Washington. but they didn't take any pieces from here, and they started the initiative themselves because they saw the glow. They saw how much people are interested in the destination right now. So going back to the Grand Egyptian Museum, yes, the opening is next year, the third quarter of next year, and we're looking forward to it. It's a great buzz for the destination overall. And the main building is already, as a construction, is already finished, and they're starting right now to move more pieces for restoration and to make the display ready on time for the opening.
Also, we were talking about the Sphinx airport and to what extent it will facilitate the movement of tourists to this area.
Yes. Again, that's planning, and that's really very clever because having the Grand Egyptian Museum just next to the pyramids area, and linked to them the new Sphinx airport, which is just like 15-20 minutes from the area, is really very clever because this will help also in the one-day charters to land over there, just visit both of them and go back to your plane and leave. So you don't have to even spend the night. If you wish, if you are in Hurghada and you want to come to Cairo for an overday, that's possible, and so on. So that's really very clever because going to the Cairo airport is really very far from the pyramids area. So they did open this new airport special for that. The renovation or restructuring of the whole pyramids area also is really very important, because this is where the entrance of the pyramid will be from the other side, from the Fayoum road, and there will be a proper visitor center ready for the guests to welcome the guests over there. There will be good restaurants inside the area.
Hotels, of course.
Well, hotels, there will be 3 hotels, but in the area, outside the pyramids area, in between the pyramids and the museum area. And it's already, this is already announced by the Prime Minister. And there will be 7 stops inside the pyramids area. The 3 pyramids, a panorama, a camel or a horse stop, if anyone would like to ride horses or camels, a shopping stop. So that's really exceptional because yes, because we were dreaming of achieving this so many years ago. The electrical cars or vehicles that will be used exclusively within the area premises will be delivered around March or April of next year. So by then, the area may be, I guess, both of them, if we open the pyramids area with the Grand Egyptian Museum at the same time, that would be a huge thing for the whole world. So that's really...
And I think Tutankhamun's treasures are taking the Lions King in this museum.
Yes, if you can imagine
I think it has a separate ticket for it.
Yes, that's very true.
This is what I heard.
Yes, that's very true. Imagine the current collection at the Cairo, current Cairo Museum of Antiquities in Tahrir Square are around a bit more than 1,000 pieces. The display over there, for the first time in history, will be for the full collection of King Tut. More than 5,000 pieces for the first time in display. So that's really very special. They will be taking 2 halls, and if you want to go, as you're saying, if you want to go to the museum and visit only King Tut treasures and don't have to leave to visit all the rest of the halls, it's all yours to do that. It's a day at the museum.
Yes.
I always remember the night at the museum movie, but it will be a day at the museum, a full day spending there, because there will be also there restaurants, shopping facilities, restrooms, proper restrooms. Of course, the display will be different to the latest technologies there is over there, so it will be totally different. Meanwhile, opening the Grand Egyptian Museum We will not forget the current Egyptian Museum, because the current Egyptian
The
Museum
one in
by
Tahrir,
itself,
yeah.
yes, by itself is now a monument. It's more than 100 years old.
The building itself.
Yes. So what's happening right now is that, and again, this is planning. The Ministry of Antiquities signed an agreement with the European Union, and with coordination with 5 major main big museums of Europe. They will be renovating the whole museum and the whole display, and this will take 3 years until it's fully done, and with the lighting, with the display, and so on. They will not close it. They will do it partially. Yes, in parallel. Yes.
So, sir, how do you see preparations for the winter season and reservations now?
Well, touch wood.
It's very good.
Well, it's really very good.
I think these campaigns start to bear fruits now.
Yes, very, very, very true.
Yes.
The campaigns and the sense of security,
yes,
and safety that the people have right now regarding our destination. You cannot tell someone who wants to spend his holiday in a place and spend money over there and have his kids with him and so on, go to a place which is unsafe. No, safety comes first, and this is what the government. This is the role of the whole government focused on during the last period. Is safety throughout the country, of course, yes, for Egyptians and foreigners. And people saw that no place in earth right now is really 100% safe. But now safety in Egypt is clear to everyone, and everyone appreciates that. So that's why people were waiting for the last 7 years, some of them I know personally, to come to Egypt. And now this is their opportunity. So we have a flow of requests from all over the world for people to come. Actually, right now, as we're speaking, many of the hotels and Nile cruises are fully booked already during Christmas and New Year period.
Yeah,
it's already done. Yes. So we have right now what we call the good problems, that we are trying to search for yes, alternatives for the people to come. Just not to say no to any of the guests of Egypt to come to this period and spend their holiday here.
So by that, I'd like to thank you, Mr. Medhat Mourad, and thank you for all these good news from the tourism sector.
My pleasure.
Thank you, sir. And now, dear viewers, by that we come to the end of today's edition of Cairo Local Time. Stay tuned for more is coming up on Nile TV International.